ambitious, great, motivated, leaders, enthusiastic, excited about life, creative, thought-provoking entrepreneurs. This one's for you. Welcome to Feel Free TV. I'm Melissa, your host, and we have the wonderful, beautiful, and so talented Gail Bean here today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. She's been recognized as one of the up-and-coming actors to look out for. And you can find her latest work, Unexpected, trending #1 on Netflix. So thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
So that often I get invited into people's space.
Well, I'm glad that you're here, and I just want to talk about what amazing time this is for you right now. I mean, Unexpected was such a great movie. When I interviewed Gail, I had just seen the movie like a week ago, so I was still pretty high of her performance. It's really good. It's on Netflix. Check it out. I loved it. It was so relatable. You did such a great job, and talk a little bit about how it is to have people see your work now. You know, see what you've been doing.
The influx of text messages, Facebook messages, Instagram posts. Honestly, it's really amazing to hear people and their feedback because a lot of people love it.
Yeah.
I have friends and people who I met in passing that don't watch. I guess you would kind of call it a chick flick. And guys hit me up and they're like, "Oh, that was so good." Like people who know me will hit me up and be like, "Man, your work was so good." So to hear them say not just they like the film, but also they like my work, and it's people who like the film that are with it that are complete strangers. That is probably the best thing ever. To hear people who don't even know me, never met me, who don't feel obligated to like me.
It's great to have good feedback because it can go totally left and people can kind of put you down and say negative things, but I mean the work speaks for itself. So
and then we all have our own feedback. We're all critical and we're all our worst critic. There were things that I definitely was like, that work was okay. I could have done something. I could have done a little bit more.
Always gonna feel that way. When are you ever gonna look at yourself and be like, "Oh, that was perfect"? That's a good thing. That's a bad thing at times because you are your worst critic, but you just don't give yourself enough credit either.
It makes you better though for the next time. Because what I learned watching that and having so many people see it and it being on such a large platform, all the things I would have done differently, I'm going to put that into the next project, in the next project. So I'm going to grow with each project.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't talk about any journey without talking about the beginning.
Oh, yes.
And I hear a lot of actors say, like, acting is kind of like a calling. Like, you feel obligated to go after this thing and you couldn't stop it if you tried. So I have to know, what is it for you? When did you realize you wanted to be an actor?
Okay, well, my base, my foundation, all things with me start with God.
Yeah.
And so I feel He always gives me signs, and I learned to trust that and allow that to overcome. When I was young, I always knew I loved entertaining. Like when I was a kid, I did ballet, I did theater, I did everything my mother could put me in.
Right.
She said my very first ballet recital, it was like a recital / play. I ran out, I was the very first one, I ran out, I fell, and everybody was like, and I hopped up and I bowed and I blew kisses, and she was like, "Oh God."
She was like, "Oh God."
Let me get it. But I've always loved it. But in high school you do cheerleading and.
Gail was actually a cheerleader in high school and in college. Needless to say, she was no stranger to putting on a show.
Everything else, and boys, and so high school was fun. I didn't start taking it serious until I knew, once I graduate high school, I wanted to take my acting serious. So it was my senior year, and my mom goes, "I haven't seen any college letters yet," and I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to college. I'm moving to California to pursue my acting career." Oh wow. She's like, "Oh hell no, you're not." My mom's a high school teacher.
So education is it.
Education is it. So I had to go to college and stuff, but every year I kept saying, "Can I quit and go to do acting?" Like it just was not for me. So college was for her. I had to get the degree and stuff.
Gotcha.
And then after college, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to visit California.
Right.
I went out there. I bought a round trip ticket for a month, and then my second week out there, I called my boyfriend and I was like, yo, I need you to help me tell my mama that I moved.
And good thing she did. Gail has gone on to do some incredible things in California, from interviews to meeting her tribe of actors to being featured in multiple magazines as one of the most anticipated up-and-coming actors. Your mom cannot be mad about this one.
So it was over. I always wanted to go though. So while through college and stuff, I didn't major in theater.
Yeah.
But every time I came back to Atlanta, I always took theater classes. I got in with a good theater group. I would go back and forth to New York and take classes. So I always knew it was what I wanted, but I didn't pursue it until after high school.
And that I was actually going to bring up. So why did you go to college? And now it's clear the influence of right. You're gonna get that degree, and which is a plus.
It is a plus.
I'm sure it will come in handy sometime.
Oh, it's definitely going to come in handy because I want my own, speaking on an entrepreneurial level, I do want my own production company. Right. So I act, write, and produce. I got a degree in accounting, which will help me with my finances and stuff and running a business and starting up a business because I feel like a lot of times we put people in place over money and finances and we just trust them from their knowledge to know what they're doing when they could be embezzling money, they could be stealing, they could be hacking advantage of you.
It was definitely acting.
Well, I like law. I feel I'm very convincing and I'm very persuasive and I'm really good at winning arguments. So I said, well, I'll be a lawyer. And I'll never forget, it was my freshman year, I talked to my best friend, Steph. And I had called him, I was like, Steph, so I feel like I know books. I can do law. That's easy. Yeah. And I love law. But I also love acting, and I feel like that would be more of a challenge for me. I always need something that's going to challenge me. Yeah. To go to law school, and no offense to anybody who's a lawyer that has a law degree, that is
hard work.
It is.
I know.
I'm not trying to discredit nobody.
Law, books, writing, all
and
that.
the laws always change. But I felt like I could do that. Right. I was like, I could do law and law school and be a dope lawyer and be one of the highest black paid lawyers. I could do that. Right. But I was like, I really love acting, and this is something that I feel like I'm scared to do, so I need to do it.
Yes, you will grow in it.
So, exactly. So because
no matter what profession that you're in, there's always going to be competition.
Yes.
And in acting especially, you do a competition on a daily basis, and people can feel intimidated by just that competitive atmosphere all the time. How do you not allow competition to get in the way of opportunities that you know is right for you?
I honestly believe everything is just mindset. You have to humble yourself. You have to bring yourself back to reality because honestly, at the end of the day, when we both in front of God, He's not gonna judge me no different than Denzel. Yeah, we both on the same playing field. Right. It ain't about how many Oscars you won. It ain't about how many girls you done got. It's you even. And there's been times where I've been in an audition room with Logan Brown and with Regina Hall, and then but I had to bring myself back to reality. Nah, you worked your ass off to get here. You deserve this.
Just to be here.
Yeah, and then I had to make it not about anybody else, but focus myself on me as to what I'm there to do. You know what I'm saying? Because it don't matter who in the room.
It's true.
They could go in there and they could be having a shitty day. They could completely forgot all their lines. They could have partied. You never know. And the odds, what they always say, may the odds forever be in your favor. So it's you never know what it can be. So I just try to keep my mindset on me and on the fact that everything that's for me, that God has for me, is for me. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Steven Spielberg flew me to New York and put me up, and I sat with him. I talked. I had a callback audition for a film that he's doing. And I was so nervous because I was like, this is Steven Spielberg. I kept trying to tell myself, just calm down.
Yeah, to not someone.
I was like, it's cool.
You can't get over the fact this is someone
exactly
incredible.
Amazing.
Yes.
I'm like, that's all I could
be. Oprah is just wait, yes, you're not really normal.
Wait, Oprah wants to interview. Wait, what?
Exactly.
Wait a minute.
I can't read.
But whenever there's a huge decision, when I know it's bigger than life, I always call my dad. And I'm like, look, he don't know nothing about the industry.
Yeah.
But he always says something that's right, whether it be in a football metaphor or something. So he was like, yeah, it's a big deal that you're meeting him, but it's a bigger deal that they want to meet you. So he was like, he's just another person.
Good. Yeah.
And I was like, you're right. You're right.
I
was like, you're right.
Yes. You need that support system that's going to, level your head and keep you going and keep you in the right mindset.
You do.
To do what is right for you.
You do.
Yeah.
And I've met people who, it doesn't have to be your parents. It can be your friend, your parents, your boyfriend. It could be your child. Because children see more innocence than we do. And they always have a good spirit.
Yeah.
So it can be anyone as long as you have that. And like for me, yes, it is my father, but my first go-to is God. Always. But you need something or someone that you believe in to really keep you level-headed.
Keep it grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you get scared? What do you do when you do get scared? Is it
yes.
And I think people think that if you do something on a regular basis, like, oh, you go to auditions every day. Oh, you're always doing challenges all the time, so you shouldn't be scared.
Hell
no.
I get scared all the time. But free is, we're always going to have fear. But to live encouraged to where you can overcome that fear. That to me is freedom.
Yeah.
And I get scared a lot when it comes time to, it's something big on the line and I feel like I deserved it. I worked hard. I'm like, I could do anything that could be the wrong thing to mess it up.
Yes.
With acting, so many things, so many factors affect whether you get cast or not. My hair could be the wrong way that day. My makeup could be too dark. I could be too thin. I could be too short. I could be too tall. I could be prettier than the lead, which they don't want no competition because they don't want to take the attention away. So it's so many things that can factor into it.
That have really nothing that you have control over.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's like you get afraid because all of these things could factor in on top of the fact that you could look at a script. If you send I love you, a text message saying I love you to every single person in your phone, everybody can interpret it differently. So you can go in as an actor with a piece of material and prepare it, and you could interpret it one way, and the person who's casting you, the casting director, they could have looked at that a completely different way. And it's like, you may really believe that, and that may be a lot of hard work in it, but that's not what they're looking for.
Exactly.
So sometimes I think, well, I am from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Sometimes my accent is too heavy. I think about that. Like right now, I have this hair.
Yeah.
I know I can't go back to LA with it.
Gotta change it up.
Yeah, and then it's like people will look at your social media. It could be something you said. It could be something you did. It could be someone you affiliate with. So I get scared just on a regular daily basis of
fear is going to be a part of the journey. It's going to be a part of your everyday experience, but you don't allow it. You kind of embrace it.
You have to embrace it because honestly, you grow from fear. Like everything, when I look back on all the stuff I've been through in life, everything that I've endured, it was worth it. And I've grown every moment that I've been afraid of something. If I've faced it head on and overcame it, I've grown. But did you die? But did you die though? Did you die though?
If you didn't die, then you're fine.
You're good.
So let's switch gears a little bit. When you're not going on auditions and you're not on a project, when do you work on your craft? When are you spending time sharpening your skills?
Every day. Every day. There's something in the universe where no matter what field you're in, there's always going to be things that are going on in the world, that are going on in your personal life, that are on TV that can feed into your craft. Whatever it be, whether it is a teacher, whether it is a scientist, whether it is a doctor, whether it is an actress, a writer, a reporter. There's always things. I can look at people, look at stuff on TV and say, I didn't like that choice. I will do it this way. So later on in the future, I may know how a choice may look. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's different things that feed into who you are. And the biggest thing is, I don't like, some actors think, okay, I just need to stay inside and study and study and study. But acting is not really acting. It's living. So if you don't live life, how do you have these experiences to portray them exactly in real life? Yeah. Because you have to believe it. And my imagination is good. Yeah. If I believe something, then it's solid. It's long. Yeah. So every day, and I mean, I also, other people's art pours into my art, like whether it comes from reading a poem, reading an article, listening to music, listening to lectures, all different things. I people watch like crazy. Yeah. Social media pours into it, different things that will pull different emotions, will strike different memories. So every day, and I can sit and listen to someone else's poem, and it can cause me to have spark a poem in me. That's different. I feel like the best artist, a great artist, steals. Yeah. And not like I steal your work, but you inspire my work and you influence this.
Right.
I feel like
something else.
Let me see, who do I really like? K. Michelle. I really like her work. But her work, you can tell, is influenced from a lot of the greats. That's why her music is so good.
Right. So relatable. So as you journey through creating yourself professionally and, of course, personally, what is the greatest lesson that you've learned thus far?
Oh, no, I know one. I haven't learned it yet. I'm still learning. I'm learning it.
But that's a good one because you never get it right the first time. You know, you kind of need the repeated offense.
I'm probably on like time 1,254.
So this is a good lesson. This is a lesson you gotta learn. You gotta get.
Don't be so emotional. Don't let your emotions overcome you, because, and especially in my field, because a lot of people's relationships and situations, whether it be from relationships to just art or anything, play out in public.
Yeah.
And that's because they're emotional.
Yeah.
And really, I should take that emotion and put it in an art. But like, my tolerance is more high.
Yeah.
But then once I get there, I'm there.
Yeah,
Like, I'm mad. I'm mad.
Right,
You know?
right.
If I'm sad, I'm sad. So
Yeah.
not to be so emotional. And that doesn't mean I'm numb.
No.
It doesn't, because I don't ever want to be numb. I always want to be sensitive to all things.
Yeah.
But
You're making a decision.
my reaction, because when you're emotional at times, you react, and it's
without
intense.
thinking, without making a true choice.
Exactly. Being
Something
calm
that's-
and being rational and thinking before you act.
I feel like guys are so much better at that.
They are.
I've heard this stuff, and you mentioned this before. Because we're on Feel Free TV, I have to ask you, what does it mean to live freely to you?
Live freely, you have to be courageous enough to overcome the fear. That is to live free.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you. Thank you so much for having
Your
me.
insight is so powerful.
Oh,
Your
thank
personality
you.
is so beautiful, and
Thank you.
I'm just so glad.
Continue to follow
thank
Gail
you
and her
so-
career on all social media platforms at Insta Bean. Links are below. Thanks again, Gail, for sharing your story. Want more inspiration and interviews? Good, because there are more to come. Never miss a single one. Subscribe now. Like right now.